Okay, one more thing that's an important concept in live that we just haven't touched on. Um, that is sometimes we want the ability to lock down a track and say, this track is the way it is. Now, there's a whole bunch of reasons for doing that, but the two most important ones are you are either sharing this track, like sending this whole session to someone else, and I'll talk more about that in just a second, or your computer is just running too hot. Like if you look up here, we see this 1%, right? That 1% is telling us how hard our processor is working. We can click on it and get a little bit more info, but if that's getting up pretty high and your computer's starting to go slow, then you might want to do this trick. And what this trick is called freezing and flattening. What it's going to do is it's basically going to render a MIDI track as an audio file, or render an audio file without all its effects. So in other words, it's going to put all the effects into the clip and then turn off the effects. So it'll sound the same, but you won't be able to make any adjustments anymore. Okay? So here's how we do it. We just go over to the track, control click or right click, freeze track or freeze and flatten track. If you freeze the track, that's going to disable MIDI stuff, effects, instruments, anything. And it's basically going to be a temporary audio file. You can kind of see that it turns blue because it's frozen. And this is there's like a hidden audio file that was just created. The reason you might want to freeze something but not flatten it is you can unfreeze things. I can unfreeze it and wake it up. But if I flatten it, it's going to turn it into an audio file and I can't go back. Okay? So, I mean, I can kind of undo it right now, but once I get further down the road, I can't go back from that. But it's going to be kind of rendered as an audio file now. If I go to my audio file and they have effects and things on them, and my computer's running really slow, so I might want to render those effects onto the track and then turn off those effects. That'll help free up your computer. Okay, so freezing and flattening is just kind of how we do that. Different programs call that different things. They might call it render in place. They might call it print, like printing the audio is like a thing. It's a weird term, but it is a term. In live, we call it freezing and flattening.